So this is Baruch Fleischman here with the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and let me see if I can get the focus on this page a little bit better. It's not so great. So he says, so here we have a little blurb. Let's see, I think we might have something I could read with, and there's a slight, I think is a slight problem in the Girsa, but other than that, this is a fantastic piece. It's called Beyond Words, Simple and Secret Meanings, Part 18. Let's read down here and see the blurb says. It starts like saying like this. They would say, how can it be that one born of a woman formed from a holy drop can merit to be attached to the Creator of all things? To this, King David answered, also in my eyes, originally it was hard to understand who can dwell in your dwelling place. In other words, who could be close to Hashem. However, I shall describe in a beautiful way how to understand this. Hashem commanded us commandments and good statutes. He says, through which we may live forever and merit to it be attached to Him, as in the verse, and you are attached. Vaking, bo, clinging to Hashem. The statutes help to complete the soul. The man who merits to keep the Torah will connect his lower soul with his spirit, and in turn his spirit with his higher soul, and his higher soul with Hashem, as it says, and the soul of my master will be tied up with the source of life, Hashem. Now, let's see that's the idea here. The idea is getting to the place of clinging to Hashem. So he says, over the centuries, our great sages have written many priceless interpretations and commentaries explaining the simple meanings of the words of our Holy Torah. Nevertheless, if you are unable to look beyond such interpretations, and so cannot recognize the reality to which the word points, then you are missing the deeper and essential realities of the Torah. The way to elevate and increase your level of understanding is not to get particularly stuck on the simple interpretations of the words, rather, understands that the words are more than just the means to an end. Not unlike a signpost, it points beyond itself. He says, for example, the word grape isn't a grape, it's just a word. You can study and talk about grapes for as long as you like, but you won't really know it until you taste it. After you have tasted it, the words become less important to you. You won't be attached to it anymore. Similarly, you can talk or think about God. You can think about Him continuously for the rest of your life, but does that mean you know or have even glimpsed the reality to which the words point? The reverse also applies. If, for whatever reason, you dislike the word grape, that might prevent you from ever tasting it. If you had a strong aversion to the word God, you might be denying not just the word, but also the reality to which it points. You could be cutting yourself off from the possibility of experiencing that reality. So he says this is the point that Rabbi Mimran is working on. He says, let me get a little more, see if I can get it more clear. As long as you are run by the egoic mind, you are part of the collective insanity. Now let's see this again. As long as you are run by your egoic mind, you are part of the collective insanity. Now I think about this all the time because, well, we see this from Rabbi Nachman and other places. There are all different kinds of changes in the world. It's very hard to track. Perhaps you haven't looked very deeply into the human condition in its state of dominance by the egoic mind. Now here, the egoic mind is the mind that tells us who we are through our thinking and our comparing ourselves to other people. He says, open your eyes and see the fear, the despair, the greed, and the violence that are all pervasive. See the atrocious cruelty and suffering on an unimaginable scale that humans have inflicted and continue to inflict on each other. As well on other forms other life forms on the planet. I mean, just thoughtless devastation. That is insanity, but we do it with gusto. That is unconsciousness. This is like being unconscious, but going without being able to see what's really going on. Above all, don't forget to observe your own mind. So he says like this, all of this insanity that we're always exposed to in the common thoughts. Above all, don't forget to observe your own mind. Seek out the root of the insanity that's there. To become conscious of the soul, you need to reclaim consciousness from the mind. This is one of the most essential tasks on your spiritual journey. It will free vast amounts of consciousness that previously had been trapped in useless and compulsive thinking. A very effective way of doing this is simply to take the focus of your attention away from thinking and direct it into the body. Now, one of the things that Rabbi Mimran used to say was that you could focus on your breathing. That's a very interesting thing. It will pull you away from those thoughts. You could focus on trying to comfort your feet all the way up to your head. Try to look at mellowing out that situation, just looking at what's going on in that part of your body. He said, where the soul can be felt in the first instance as the invisible energy field that gives life to what you perceive as the physical body. Now let's see if I can get down low enough to be able to read this blurb here. The way to elevate and increase your level of understanding is not to get particularly stuck on the simple interpretation of the words. Rather, understand that the words are more than just the means to an end. This is Baruch Fleischman. This is Rabbi Mimran. Thank you for listening.